Richard Meyer is an iconic composer for string orchestra. He is an orchestra director in Temple City, where he grew the program to something like 200 students from like 30. He also conducts the Pasadena Youth Symphony. As a composer, he's written over 190 pieces for string orchestra at the time of this recording. And he's also co-authored the String Explorer series, and Terra correlates with String Explorer Book 1, Unit 14. So you're probably thinking, well, when does Richard Meyer sleep? He's written 190 string orchestra works. I haven't even written one yet, and he does all these other things too. There's a certain percentage of the population that are these ultra creative types, and it's like if they don't create something, if they're not working on something new, if they're not composing or conducting this group or doing that, it's like they're going to explode. And so for these people, they have to stay active, and they have to do this, or they can't sleep. So when he has time to sleep, that's probably when he's finished a bit of his latest composition, and then he can finally hit the hay. Students love to play Terra Nova. They really get into it, and they want to work on it, and a lot of them want to take it home and practice it because it's fun to play and it sounds cool. Terra Nova has meter changes, which both teachers and students love. It makes the music interesting, and the way it's done here, it's not a problem at all. It's super easy to do it. In fact, a lot of students might not even notice the meters changing one bit, because the quarter note stays constant, as does the eighth note. So they just keep right on playing. It's also got a good mixture of minor modalities, major modalities, just kind of mixed up all in here. It's got some unique chord progressions and a really cool style. And I'll be going over style in the next video. But throughout the piece, we have what's called frustrated leading tones, which is kind of cool. It keeps the harmonic progression moving. So right at the beginning here, we're in what looks like D minor, and we have some D minor stuff at the beginning. We don't really have the C sharp to D stuff. In the first section, we don't have C sharps at all. In the section at 19, we get F sharps, so it's like, okay, well, are we going to be tonicizing G? No, those F sharps will then go down to D, so what we call a frustrated leading tone, in this case, chromatic alteration. So same thing in 28, we get some C sharps here. C sharp here in measure 31 goes down to A. Fortunately, we don't, when this chord changes inversion, we don't get the C sharp on the G string for violas, because that would be something extra we would have to tune. So I like that decision there. Same thing in measure 37. We get a lot of these frustrated leading tones, and instead of that C sharp to D resolution that says we're in D major, we just keep moving into some unusual chord progressions. There's some style changes here. We've got the sort of driving opening theme, and then we have a more lyrical B section, and then there's a DSL coda. The advantage of the DS, the segno's in measure 3, so quite a bit of this repeats. We end up having a lot of repeated material, which from a rehearsal point of view is good. And from an audience point of view, it's good too, because people like to hear something they've already heard. They like that familiarity. And from a rehearsal point of view, you rehearse this once, and then, when you take the DS, should be good the second time through, right? So probably we'll spend the most amount of time on the B section rehearsing, but this stuff comes back at the DS. A lot of melodic material in here, and Richard Meyer does a good job of making sure everybody gets the melody, at least sometimes. Even the violas get the melody sometimes. First violins get it quite a bit. Second violins sometimes double the first violins. Everybody gets this thing at the end where, they play the theme a little bit. But the melody gets passed around. Everybody gets a turn to play something melodic, which is cool. Also, another thing that Richard Meyer does is when he writes this, you don't just have like A, B, A. Like the theme is developed. So we have the statement of the opening theme, and then when the theme comes back, we have this counter melody in the first violin line, which makes it a lot more interesting. And as we go through it, everything just kind of develops and continues to evolve as we go through. And I think that's really creative and cool. Terra Nova is a very popular piece for string orchestra. The students really enjoy it, and teachers love to program it. It is a grade 2, and it is a grade 2 on the PML. It's about 2 minutes and 10 seconds long. It's not especially fast, but it's a real grade 2. There's a lot of changes in fingering patterns. There's a lot of chromatic alterations that change from major to minor patterns on the D string, on the A string, even sometimes on the G string. We'll get some B naturals. There is some half position stuff in the basses, and that might take some work. And there's a little bit of half position in the first violin. Well, there's one B flat on the A string in first violins at the very end, which is missed. Even though it's marked, it's missed a lot. So be careful there. Terra Nova works especially well for a varsity middle school. It can work maybe for a non-varsity high school or a sub-non-varsity high school. It might work with a non-varsity middle school, but you'd have to have the right kids to be able to do it. I guess that's true for everything, though. Like you have to have the right kids to do it. But this is not a gimme grade 2. If you want something that's a little easier, that's a grade 2, you might want to check out Sahara Crossing. That's got some stuff in it too. It's got some low ones and stuff in it also. But Terra Nova is significantly more difficult. So if you're just trying to find an easy grade 2, this is probably not the piece for you. But if you're trying to find a substantial grade 2 that's fun for your students to play and challenging and something that they enjoy practicing and enjoy rehearsing, this could be a winner if you rehearse it carefully. And in the next few videos, I'm going to do my best to provide the best tips and tricks that I have up my sleeve to be able to put Terra Nova together so that your students can play challenging music but also be successful. So in the next video, we're going to talk about style, and I hope to see you then.